Alrighty, folks, welcome to the show. Here today to discuss about AEW Dynamite March 3rd, 2021 review. This show is actually really good for the first hour and 15 minutes, I'd say. They did some really good build for getting a lot getting a last impression on the pay-per-view. The match that kickstarted the show surprised the living hell out of me. I thought it was going to be the main event, and I was kind of thankful it was going to be the opener of the show to get it out of the way and over with, because I thought the match was going to be shit, but unfortunately that was not the case. And I'm saying unfortunately because this match was so damn good, I would actually put it on the main event if I knew it was going to be this good. I was really impressed. Shaquille O'Neal took a very good bump in this match, getting put through two tables on the outside of the ring that was placed by Red Velvet during the matchup. Jade, she did very well in the ring with Red Velvet. These two women actually worked very well together. I liked what they did in the ring. Yeah, they had some mishaps. You could tell there was some, botches made during the match. Just small tad little issues. Nothing major or, drastic that occurred during the matchup that I would be shitting on it for. But it was far better than the finals to the women's tournament to crown the number one contender for the women's championship match, because I'll be quite frank with you guys, I wasn't impressed with that match at all, which I'll get into with you guys once we get to it. But Shaquille O'Neal and Jade Cargill, whatever the hell her last name is pronounced as, did very well together against Cody and Red Velvet. These two teams worked very well together. Shaquille O'Neal really impressed me. I thought he was going to be shit. He was probably the best celebrity / sports athlete that's outside of wrestling that came into this and actually did a good job. He reminded me a lot of the Big Show in this, and with that being said, I mean, he's as tall as the Big Show, so why not think of him as the same way? But he didn't do bad. He didn't move in that ring bad. He looked strong as a fucking ox, though his midsection looks a little pudgier than it used to. But I got to admit, this was a very good match, and I don't understand why this wasn't the main event if it was going to be this good. Jade actually picked up the victory for their team, and she gets the victory there. So, very impressive matchup by them. Ray Phoenix and Pac win their matchup against John Skyler and D3, which I'm not very familiar with. This is probably newcomers showing up on Dynamite on Wednesday nights. We then had MJF and Chris Jericho head to the ring with the rest of the Inner Circle for their Revolution press conference. Dasha moderates as the two are asked some questions. Jericho starts off that it's been 1 year since he lost the AEW World Championship, and it's about time he's champion again. Jericho says he's a 7-time tag team champion, listing off some of the names he was champion with, such as The Rock, Paul White, were some of his former tag team partners when he was a champion. But neither are better than MJF, which I have to beg to differ. I think The Rock is far superior than MJF. Jericho looks forward to beating the Young Bucks on Sunday, is pretty much what he had to say there on one of the questions. Next, Conrad Thompson asks a question about bringing Sammy Guevara back. MJF calls him Turkey Tuts, and begs Jericho to answer the question. Jericho said he never wanted to hear Sammy's name ever again and tells Conrad to beat it. They are asked about beating up Papa Buck. I believe this is asked by by Eric Bischoff. He goes ahead and he says, "Why did he beat up Papa Buck? First off, and why would you give them enough motivation to really just piss them off?" So MJF says it was an act of self-defense. He says what they did to Papa Buck will be nothing compared to what they will do this weekend. Santana then takes the mic and says Matt and Nick should have done better and not bring their dad around the around ringside and around the arena. Oh, okay. So Eric Bischoff actually asks a different question. Well, he asks them, do they know Papa Buck's condition? Also, Bischoff says, among stupid ideas, where does motivating the Young Bucks for revenge rank on his list? Jericho doesn't like the question and tells him to shut up. He goes to continue, and the Young Bucks music hits. They come to the stage, and they're not happy. And why should they? Their father got beat the shit out of their own father by MJF and Chris Jericho. So, I mean, I wouldn't be too happy either. Nick says they understood they could get hurt. Maybe their friends too, but not their father. Matt says his dad was the best father in the world. He taught them everything they needed to know. Everything Jericho and MJF's father failed to do. He taught them good values, faith in God, and so forth. And he wanted to save money and go ahead and help them go to college. And when he couldn't, he built them a ring for them to learn and do the work themselves to become in-ring performers in wrestling. I thought it was an excellent promo by the Young Bucks. Unbelievable shit. They also mentioned and took a shot at Jericho. He goes ahead and so they go ahead and they continue further with this. And Matt says the DIY attitude is something that built AEW. If there was no AEW, where would MJF and Jericho be? MJF might be in his parents' home waiting for another call from Rosie O'Donnell. And Matt then says Jericho would likely be jerking the curtain at the Performance Center, referencing WWE, which is probably true because they didn't give him anything going out of WWE. That's the reason why he left WWE in the first place. He didn't like what they were doing to him. So that's why he came to AEW and to New Japan Wrestling, because he wanted to expand his horizons, evolve his character and become something better again and actually be relevant once again in the eye of professional wrestling. So, yeah, AEW was a big help to his career. I mean, he would have made it in New Japan Wrestling without AEW ever coming to existence, but it definitely brought him back to relevancy in the USA in professional wrestling. So, that was great comments made by the Young Bucks there. Whoever wrote or came up with the ideas of what they said, unbelievable work by whoever that is. I give a lot of credit to whoever came up with that. If that was the Young Bucks themselves, congrats. That was excellent stuff that you touched on there. The Bucks end up throwing super kicks to their opponents, and brawl breaks out. Referees show up to calm things down. The Good Brothers come out with a table and set it up on the stage. Nick climbs above the entrance and hits crashing down on Ortiz, while Matt jumps off the stage and down through the table on Santana. So, this is going to be an excellent tag team championship matchup. Not the matchup I was looking for, but with this promo, it definitely elevates this matchup and makes me really want to tune in for that match. Most definitely. We recap video shown of the feud between Kenny Omega and Jon Moxley as they head towards their exploding barbed wire death match at Revolution. I actually was a little bit disappointed they didn't have the Jon Moxley and Kenny Omega on the show, closing the show with some kind of promo, just to end it like that. I was a little disappointed in that. Instead, we had Matt Hardy and Quinn versus fucking Hangman Page and John Silver. I was actually not impressed with that main event. I was very disappointed they went with that idea as their main event of the show. I think not Jericho, Kenny Omega and Jon Moxley being the last piece of the show, the last segment being shown on this would have been a better idea. Unfortunately, that was not the case. But we had Atusha Anita, who knows a thing or two about death matches and has faced Terry Funk in an exploding barbed wire death match. He talks about what the match does to wrestlers, and it feels like it is appropriate stipulation for these two rivals. I'm going to say this, guys. This is going to be probably the most barbaric match ever conducted in a United States promotion in professional wrestling. This is only done, I believe, in New Japan Wrestling, or at least in the east side of the world, in Japan, because I've never seen a match like this done in the United States, ever. I've seen a barbed wire match, where the ring is surrounded by barbed wire. They did that with Sabu and fucking Terry Funk in ECW. Sabu also had another match with Abyss in TNA when they first started up. I think it was in like 2004 this occurred, or 2005. So, I mean, those two have had barbed wire matches, but never has it been an explosion match. This is going to be definitely different for a lot of viewers. I highly recommend, for AEW's sake, to put a warning label on this pay-per-view before it airs to make sure people are aware that children should not be watching this match. This is not going to be your regular, ordinary, hard-fought matchup. This is going to be a bloodfest. These guys are going to be bleeding, having black marks all over their fucking bodies and be in excruciating pain. This is not going to be anything but a real fight. Only difference is it's going to have a fixed ending. There's going to be a fixed winner. But what these guys do in the middle, in the beginning and the middle, folks, is not going to be fake. This is not going to be one of those things where you can go ahead and say, oh, this is fake bullshit, blah, blah, blah. The only thing that's fake about it is the match is fixed. That's the only thing that it will be fake about this match, folks. These guys are going to bleed. They are going to suffer. They're going to make their match at fucking Full Gear in 2019 look like a walk through the park. They're going to make it look like it was fucking PG wrestling, man. This is going to be brutal. And if you have children watching this, put them to fucking bed, because this shit is gonna be brutal for them to watch. I'm not kidding. I watched a match on YouTube with Terry Funk against that guy that I just mentioned, and I just watched 5 minutes of it, and I said to myself, holy shit, we are gonna be in for a hell of a ride on March 7th on Sunday. This is not going to be any normal matchup that people are used to. So this is definitely going to be revolutionary. It's going to be different. And people are going to be shocked what these guys put each other through just for a fucking fixed match. And if you guys shit on this, there's something fucking wrong with you. Because this is not something you would want to put your body through for a fixed match unless you are completely passionate about what you're doing. And even that definitely makes me worry about your sanity, because I think these two guys are fucking nuts to do this type of fucking match. But to actually do this and have the balls to do it is impressive in my book. Really, it is. So, The next match after they did a promo video of the match for the barbed wire explosion match, we had FTR and Tully Blanchard with J.J. Dillon, who, my God, has not been seen on television forever. He showed up with them and was helpful in this match against the Jurassic Express in a 6-man tag team match. This was a good match. I actually had fun watching it. Shawn Spears did make an appearance at the end to help them win this match. He hit him with a camera, I believe, in the head. It was, I believe, Luchasaurus. Luchasaurus took a shot in the head by Shawn Spears, and they did a double spike pile driver by FTR and Tully picks up the victory for the cover, 1, 2, 3, and that's how the match ended. The overall matchup itself was not that bad. I actually had a lot of fun watching this. This was a very good matchup. So definitely a match worth watching. If you haven't caught the show yet and you DVR'd it, definitely catch this matchup. You're not wasting your time by watching it. So post-match, the masked man is Shawn Spears, as I already mentioned. His hair is now blonde, by the way. I forgot to mention that. He dyed his hair. And there was hugs in the group as Arn Anderson looked on from the entrance tunnel and flashes a 4 horsemen sign. Okay, I don't know what the fuck that's supposed to mean, but whatever. Tony Schiavone then comes to the stage to talk about AEW Dark Evolution, Alleviation. No, fucking Elevation. I'm sorry, it's Elevation. Alleviation. What the fuck? Elevation. AEW Dark Elevation. This will begin on March 15th. With AEW's YouTube channel, which I believe March 15th, it falls on a Monday. Can't really do anything right now on my fucking computer to see what the date was. Yeah, but yeah, it should be March 15th is on a Monday, which is actually the same day. It's going to be at 7 p.m., so it's just going to be right before Monday Night Raw. I guess they didn't want to take that chance of people not wanting to tune in. I may actually tune in for that, see what the show is like, and if it intrigues me, I may say, fuck WWE, and just do a review on that. So you guys may get an AEW Dark Elevation review instead of Monday Night Raw, because I'm, like I said, this past Monday, I'm sick of WWE. Really am fed up of it. So Paul White / Big Show, aka Big Show, will be the broadcast partner with Tony Schiavone on this the show. Tony welcomes him to AEW. No more BS chant from the crowd. He's wearing a t-shirt that says no more BS, which is either standing for no more Big Show or no more BS being bullshit, being referencing to WWE. So you could take it either way as that. I took it as no more BS, like bullshit, from like professional from WWE as it being. Because AEW loves taking shots at WWE a lot, and I don't blame them, because that is another reason why AEW exists, because of what WWE has done with professional wrestling. If WWE would have done right and stuck to what they've always done back in the day and actually made it like a sport and made it seem important and cared about what they were doing, this company would have never existed. WWE would be number 1 in the world, and there wouldn't be any competition for them. I'm pretty certain the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega would have both went to WWE, just because they wouldn't have been so fucking lame as fuck to do what they do to their talent like they do now. So that's just my opinion. I don't know. Maybe they wouldn't have. Who knows? Kenny Omega did have talks with WWE before he decided to go to AEW. So, I mean, it wasn't an immediate thing. It just seemed that he felt it was the best decision for him creatively and emotionally, I guess you could say, or mentally, to have him be happy where he is creatively and what he's doing as a profession. So that's just my thought on that. So White says, who saw this turn coming? I sure as hell didn't. I didn't think Big Show would ever leave WWE. I thought he had a guaranteed contract with them that would last a lifetime and keep him nice and secure financially. He continues that he's very happy to be with the company, though. White plugs the upcoming YouTube show with Tony, and White says it's a passion of his to get back to color commentating. White then says he has a big scoop. This Sunday at Revolution, a huge Hall of Famer talent will actually sign with AEW as well, and it's not who you think. I personally don't know who it could be outside of possibly Bret Hart. I think Bret Hart would be a guy that is reasonable to go with as a person that would sign with AEW to be a talent relations or even possibly a trainer for AEW's upcoming talent that have not appeared on Dynamite yet. I think that is a possibility. He might be signed on to do that with AEW to help them out, especially with the women's division. They need all the help they can get at this point. So yeah, personally, I think Bret Hart could be the guy, but then again, they might surprise us with someone completely different. You never know. I know it sure as hell ain't going to be Goldberg. If it's Goldberg, we're fucked. I don't think that's going to happen. Goldberg signed to WWE. It ain't going to be Stone Cold Steve Austin. I checked him out. He's actually on a Legends contract with WWE. My friend Matt actually brought that to my attention. I asked him what he thought of who it could be, and he mentioned Stone Cold as being one of them. Yeah. Kurt Angle, my dad mentioned, I was talking with him about it. We were watching that episode and what have you. I was chilling with him tonight, and he didn't particularly think it's, he thought it might be Kurt Angle possibly. I looked that up too. Kurt Angle is not going to be a talent they could bring on AEW, yet that would be fucking awesome if they could. But he's on a contract with WWE as a producer, so he ain't doing nothing with them either. So Bret Hart's the only one I can think of off the top of my head. If there's somebody else that shows up, I'll be shocked, to be quite frank with you, but Bret Hart's the best bet I can make at this point. Until we see who it is on Sunday, it should be interesting. So if you guys would like to leave any comment down below on who you think it might be that isn't signed with WWE under a Legends contract or any kind of form of contract with WWE that you think may come to AEW, please state it down below. I would definitely like to hear from you guys about that one. The next match on the card was Nyla Rose versus Ryo Mizunami. And this, personally, I didn't care for this match. This match was fucking boring as shit. Really. Nyla Rose ends up losing. Ryo Mizunami is the winner and is number one contender to face Hikaru Shida for the Women's Championship. After the match was over, they shook hands, and then then at that point, Ryo actually hits her with a forearm shot. She wants one back. She was requesting it, and they go back and forth until Ryo, goes down, and Shida smiles and holds up the title, and that's pretty much that. Shida's going to retain this championship. I don't see her losing this title whatsoever. I think that would be a real load of bullshit if they did that. So, yeah, I don't see that being the case. They mentioned that Thunder Rosa and Riho are going up against Brett Baker and Reba in the buy-in portion of this pay-per-view, the pre-show. Holy shit, Thunder Rosa, really? She's getting a pre-show match? Why isn't she being placed in the main event, the fucking number one contender? She should have won this whole fucking thing, to be quite frank with you. But whatever. So Sting heads to the ring to talk with Tony Schiavone about his upcoming pay-per-view match. Tony says he knows Sting is prepared for the street fight on this Sunday. And Sting says he thought he was ready until 2 weeks ago. He realized he wasn't. Now he's shaken off the ring rust and is ready. He thanks Brian Cage for that help to get the ring rust off of him. Ricky Starks walks out and says Sting needs to pump his brakes. Starks said, "We recently saw some fire from Sting, something we haven't seen in a while." Starks believes Sting still has it, but he's no icon. He slaps him in the face, and then a brawl breaks out, and Sting puts the Scorpion Deathlock on Ricky Starks. He starts having problems with this hold. He eventually taps out, and Sting actually falls right on top of Ricky Starks, causing more pressure to his back and legs. We get Will Hobbs, Hook come in there, and they try to help out, but Sting actually fights off Hook, and Brian Cage comes in from behind and swings away on Sting. He looks for another powerbomb, but outruns Darby Allin, who locks in a choke on Cage, and Brian tries to fight him off in the corner, but takes a Stinger splash to the back. Shotgun drop kick by Allin off the top rope, and Team Taz bails up to the stage. And that's pretty much how that segment ends. We then have a number 10 versus Max Caster in a face of the ladder match qualifier, and Max Caster actually wins this match thanks to the help of his teammate, his own partner, Jack Evans. I believe that's the name. Yeah, from under the ring and smacks 10 with Caster's boombox. And that's how that match ends. Post-match, Matt Hardy comes out to the stage and pays Evans $4,200. And that's not... Jack Evans is not actually his tag team partner. That was somebody else that Matt Hardy hired for what he did. And Hardy is looking to take down every Dark Order member at this point. Special AEW Dark this Saturday at 7 p.m. is mentioned for AEW's YouTube channel. And earlier today, Miro says because Chuck Taylor didn't return, he's going to have to give people what they want. Destruction. Game over. And that's it. Hangman Page and John Silver go up against Matt Hardy and Mark Quinn in a not so much great main event. I didn't particularly care for this match whatsoever. Thankfully, Hangman Page wins this match with a buckshot lariat on Quinn and gets the 1-2-3, and that's how the match ends. Post-match, Silver hugs Page, but Hardy smacks Silver and Page with the microphone. Hardy yells at Page and tells him he's not going to make it to the big match on Sunday. Hardy goes for Silver, but Dark Order runs out and stomps out Hardy. More participants from the tag team Casino Royale run out, and a huge brawl breaks out as the show comes to a close. And that's that. So a Casino Royale Tag Team Battle Royal match, which I had no idea was taking place at Revolution, is taking place, and they had this big brawl occur. Big deal. This was the bad part about this. Once they got to the finals of the women's tournament, this show kind of went downhill for me. Outside of Sting's segment, which I think Sting would have been the perfect way to end this show, I think doing that would have been a lot better than Matt Hardy and Hangman Page's final build-up towards their big money match for Revolution. I don't think that match should have been the last image we should have had for this show. I kind of disagree with the placement of the show, but with that standing, I still enjoyed this show very much. It is definitely a lot better than what it was the last couple of weeks. I think the last couple of weeks has been kind of stale. Not terrible. I'm not going to say the shows have been terrible. I'm just saying that the shows haven't been exactly what I'm used to seeing with AEW. Tonight we saw a little bit of a spark from them. Most definitely, number one. Number two, I think that they brought some of their old ways back into this. They kind of took a couple of weeks off, in my opinion. Not that they didn't build up to the pay-per-view. They did a good job building the pay-per-view up for what it was. But it didn't have that spark that I've been looking for, and it had that in the first hour and 15 minutes or so. And I think they did an excellent job. I think if they would have kind of took the dull moments of the show and kind of sprinkled it through the show instead of plowing them all together at the end, I think the show would have been really good, actually. But overall, I'm not going to complain. This was a very decent show. Fun to watch, and definitely kept my interest, number one. And number two, it made the time go by really fucking quick. So that's my opinion on the show. I think the show was okay, in my opinion. It definitely wasn't horrible. It definitely wasn't dull. Most definitely not. It had a very good go-home show build up towards their pay-per-view. So, I mean, at this time, guys, you know what to do. Hit the like button if you like this video. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to the channel, of course. And leave a comment down below, and I'll definitely get back to you on that. And I thank you very much for watching, and have a great night, guys. Bye.